not.
You don't have brothers, Kyle. You don't get it. You gotta. You,
Of
like
course I have
when you're
brothers.
real close with your brothers, like you're rooting for them with everything.
Like me and my brother. I met him that one time when I was like 7. Good guy.
Oh, the one
know his
random
name.
brother.
Yeah.
You have a Frankito of your own in your
I have a
family.
Frankito. Dude, I 100% have a fucking Frankito. I'm really hoping that like Wolf Cola doesn't all go to him someday.
Wait,
Frankito,
help me out. What is Kyle's brother situation? I feel like
I
I've
have a
forgotten the
brother.
lore.
From my dad's
Like a
previous
half
marriage.
brother, right?
Yeah,
That's
my dad's been married 3
Oh.
times. My mother was the 3rd marriage, I think.
Your dad's
and
really
so-
good at getting married.
Isn't your brother though like one of those age gaps where like there
True.
wasn't ever a reason for you to get to know him? Like, isn't he way older than you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he was a grown man with his own virgining family when I was just old enough to start forming memories. You know, like when I was 4 or 5 or 6, I remember going to his house one time and being like, this is my fucking brother or some shit. Like that kind of like no one was like, yeah, brother. It was more like, this is your brother's house. And I was like, oh, okay, goo goo gaga. Like I remember that. I remember being there and that he had a kid. But that's all I know. I don't know anything else.
So he's
I know
like
his
20
name.
years older than you, at least.
Probably 15. A
Okay.
good 15, 16 years older. And then my sister is also maybe 10 years older. My half sister. I have half brother, half sister, full sister.
I remembered like being a young kid at sporting events and stuff, and like my parents had me when they were like 26 or so, and so every once in a while you would meet someone whose parents were like who had them at 40 or something like that, and so they were like 50 years old. Like a 50-year-old parent to like an 8-year-old kid is like, oh my god, 50, that's so many more numbers. Like did you ever feel odd having a dad that was way older than the other dads?
Well, like we didn't. I never really did anything to like meet the. Whenever I met the other dads, they were goobers. I remember there was that one guy who coached us, and they were like he'd had a head injury like a few years prior, and it was like a Gary Busey situation where no one wanted to take the keys away from him. It was because it was borderline.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have had him coaching children. So like, I don't know. I felt like whenever I was exposed to another kid's dad, it wasn't they were younger. It was just they just seemed like goobers. I don't know. But yeah, he was a good bit older. But they've got all sorts of idiosyncrasies in my family that made that not seem like a weird thing anyway. Dad's like super protective of mom. I guess like she's like 10 or 12 years younger than him. So like the other guy, the parent, I remember that some other dad at the Cub Scout meeting was hitting on mom. It became a whole thing. He had to get smoked, not killed or anything, but he had to get roughed up.
Smacked
and then
around.
I couldn't go back to Cub Scouts. It's like, not only did you beat up Richard's dad, now I can't go back to fucking Cub Scouts. Like
now you'll never make Eagle.
I'll never make it fucking like Brownie Scout even or whatever the fuck. Like I didn't.
Sounds like that guy was a dick.
I mean,
see, Richard. All right, that's quality humor right here.
Baspinga. Yeah, I remember. Did you have something called Awanas as a kid?
I don't know what that is.
Awana. I don't remember what it stood for, but it was like basically trying to turn the Boy Scouts into like a church thing, where they'd be like, it was like a weekend thing we'd have to go to when we were really young, and it was like you have to go to Awanas, and I remember being like, that was one of the first events other than regular church that as a kid like I can remember dreading going to, because it's like, so I have to leave every house we had when I was growing up, we had like, but they never finished the basements. There was always unfinished concrete everywhere because we would put hockey like rollerblades on and put nets down there and shoot and stuff.